This is an update on our riparian buffer planting. We planted these trees back in June of 2025. In all, I think we planted about 45 trees. They were all purchased from Virginia Department of Forestry as part of their riparian buffer, I guess, catalog listing for trees. So down here we've got this little creek. Nice clear creek. It's got a few minnows in it. I'm sure raccoons come down here and chase them around. But the tree species are, we did some sweet bay magnolia, some swamp white oak, and I believe we did some Coosa dogwoods, but it was mostly oaks. And I think it was swamp white oak and the swamp chestnut oaks that we planted out here. And I think up here on this upper end, where it's not quite in the wetlands area, we planted some persimmons. And I think maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of those. I think you got to buy them in groups of 5. But on the tubes, these are tree tubes we got online. We got the little, you can see the tree. When we planted these things, they were just sticks, just little twigs. And so we anchored it with a piece of rebar and some zip ties, and then you put the little sock netting over the top so that you keep the birds out of it, which they go in there after the wasp nest, which we actually had one. Now, we had a good killing frost. That dark spot on that tube is a wasp nest. We almost found that by accident in September, looking at all these things. We did have a few situations like this where the rebar is bent over, and I suspect that might have been one of our, it was a critter, that's my guess. Either, I don't think a buck would have done that. This is 3/8 rebar. But we do have bears in the area, so I'm guessing maybe one of those guys was in here messing around. Now, this is an eastern red cedar blowover. Here you can see the root ball from the creek. We're going to come in here in the spring, try to salvage this stem. It's pretty good size. You know, it might be, it looks like maybe it's 24 inches at breast height. We're going to come in here. We've got permission to take this out for the easement request and salvage that stem. What we'll probably do is pile it on top of this blow down here, the slash, and create a brush pile here for critters. So here's the rest of the tree tubes here. Again, you can see the dark spots in there. Those are the trees that grew, and some of these actually grew out of the top. It was really amazing to see that. Like this guy here. So the tree tubes are 48 inches tall, and that guy right there is almost all the way to the top. And then this one here actually pushed its way out here, and of course something found the leaves, or maybe the leaves blew off and they might have nibbled on them a bit. But then you had some, we lost, I think we've lost about 5. We were here in September. There's my buddy Autumn Olive. You'll be coming out soon, sorry. But I think this one might be kaput. But I think all in all, we had I guess maybe a 15% loss, something like that. I'm not quite sure. I didn't do the exact numbers of what we planted and what we took up, but certainly 15 or 20%, which, considering we didn't touch them, we came out here, my nephew and I planted these in June 2025. It's now November 2025. All we did was dig a hole, stick the twig in there that had roots on it, and then we hadn't been back since. So very impressed. Thank you, Virginia Department of Forestry. They'll have some good products. And I think we've lost, I don't know what this little guy is. Maybe he's one of the dogwoods. He lost his little sock. Anyways, that's the update on the riparian buffer down here.